God, that's heavy.
And that's recording too. Okay, Otto, good to see you again.
Okay.
I know that last time we met, you probably did not expect to see us again so soon. But it's been what, a week
Yeah.
since we were here?
Tuesday.
Tuesday? Well, anyway, we're back, and I hope we can try and do another interview with you, because it's important. Your life is important. You've seen a lot of stuff, so we'll give it a try, okay?
Okay.
All right, for the record then, this is Otto Ihringer.
Yes.
Ihringer?
Otto Ihringer.
And-
Yeah.
And you're known as Ole?
Well, that's a nickname.
A nickname.
Yeah.
How long have you had that nickname?
Oh, darn, I guess since we were kids.
Since you were kids, your
Yeah.
brothers and sisters called you Ole?
Yeah.
Now, when were you born?
In 1895.
1895. Do you remember which month?
Oh, it's
August the 5th. August the 5th,
Yeah.
1895. And where were you born?
out on a homestead.
On the homestead.
Yeah.
Near, where was it near?
The homestead is in Meuse-Argonne. That's a White House on the farm is the very spot where I was born.
You were born in the farmhouse.
Well, no. It was just a prairie.
Uh-huh.
They were homesteading. See, they opened up that land for homesteading in 1882.
Uh-huh.
And then the people come out there, they got a quarter section of homestead, and that's a quarter section of tree clearing.
Uh-huh.
So they were entitled to a half section of land.
Now, did your parents live in a sod house originally, or did they?
No, a shack.
A shack.
They moved, came to America in about 1881.
About 1881. And they were Germans, as I recall?
Yeah.
Both your mother and your father were Germans.
Both were German.
What were their names?
Well, Joseph Ihringer and Barbara Rumbach.
Barbara Rumbach?
Rumbach.
Rumbal?
Luck.
Uh-huh.
Huh?
And your father's name was, again?
Joseph.
Joseph Ihringer. And where was he from in Germany?
In the Black Forest country.
From the Black Forest country?
Yeah.
Oh, now did you ever go through the Black Forest country during the war?
No. The closest we got to it was somewhere about 25 or 30 miles.
Away from it. Uh-huh. Now, you had how many brothers and sisters?
Well, there was 8 of us.
Eight children
that survived.
that survived. Do you remember their names?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple times.
No, your older brother's names.
Joe.
Joe was the oldest brother?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Who was next?
Matt.
Matt?
And then I guess after Matt, Engelbert would have been.
Engelbert was the third son.
And then Jack.
Then Jack?
That was the
Fourth.
fourth.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fred.
Fred?
Uh-huh. And I.
And then you.
I was the last one.
You were the last one. And then the girls were born after the boys, or?
Well, my sister, I don't know, when she was born, she died at about 16 or 17.
Oh, right.
They had the measles or something,
Mm-hmm.
and they claimed it was a relapse of the measles.
A relapse of the
And
measles.
of course, the doctors in those days, they didn't know much about doctors.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, did you have a doctor living near you, or did the doctor come to the home, or?
Yes, Carrington was a close.
So there was a doctor in Carrington who came out on horseback or in buggy, or?
Anyway they could, horseback, motorcycle, or on the railroad, with hand cars.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So you had a visit from a doctor on a motorcycle?
I never did, but we got a doctor that came in from Idaho,
Uh-huh.
and he got a motorcycle. He used to write that out for me. The house call.
Now you grew up on a farm. You grew up on the farm, and all the kids worked the farm, and
Yeah.
you grew wheat.
Well, the wheat and flax,
Wheat,
Yeah,
flax.
the flax, the land that was broke up, they figured was the first crop was generally flax.
So you broke up and you planted flax first?
It's what?
You planted flax
Yeah.
first?
No, flax was last.
Oh, it was last.
Mhm.
So you had to have the ground broken up and used to plant flax?
Well, in those days, we didn't have anything for power.
Mhm.
Horse and that, and a walking plow.
Just a walking plow.
And so you didn't break up much land. I remember about the first 10 acres was in a low place, and had a walking plow, and my brother had me lead the horse.
Uh-huh. So you led the horse,
I laid down.
and he sat on the walking plow and put his weight
No,
in
I
different,
was a handle.
just the
And
hands.
then he would hit a rock, you know,
Jump up.
a jump.
So it took two of you to,
Yeah.
two of you and a horse and a plow.
Well, I guess he just wanted me out there so he wouldn't get lonesome.
Yeah, maybe. Now, did your family have a prosperous farm? Did they do pretty well?
No, they didn't. You know, it was, they couldn't put in enough crop that they even paid them. But they tried to raise enough cabbage,
Uh-huh.
and then they had a few cattle
Uh-huh.
and hogs. And you know, at that time, when you're all your living was raised on the farm,
Mm-hmm.
they had to walk for them, or if they did, they got a little coffee and sugar.
Uh-huh. So now you sold the flax and the wheat, and you raised the cabbage and small crops to eat?
To eat.
To eat?
Yeah.
So you at least ate well if you didn't make any money, is that?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, we were Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
and they had, my mother had great faith in that, and we always had prayed before we ate,
Uh-huh.
and then sometimes we prayed, as we had little cabbage
Uh-huh.
and that, and when we didn't have the cabbage, we just ate for prayer.
Oh, ate with your prayer, huh?
Yeah, that wasn't very good for hunger.
Yeah, not for too long.
Yeah, they used to make that cabbage in about those 55-gallon wooden barrels. And we generally raise enough to fill a barrel for the winter.
And would the cabbage keep all winter?
Yes. Well, you know, cabbage will keep pretty well if it's back.
Yeah. Now, you were Catholic. Were your neighbors out here Catholic back then?
Well, it was a mixed community.
Mhm.
And there was no church. I guess at that early time, the closest priest was
Mhm.
Jamestown.
Oh, so you had a church. Did you ever go to that church?
No.
Did your mother ever go, or?
No. We never had much for transportation.
Yeah.
They have church in homes.
You had services in your house?
Well, when the priest had come, he'd have services
Mhm.
in in a certain house, you know, they were notified. And that was pretty much the way with all the religions at that time. A minister would come in once in a while.
Oh, and then someone would stop by the house and say, tonight we'll have a minister at
Well,
such
they
and such?
generally send a note ahead
Uh-huh.
that he'd be there and he'd leave the place, or they'd meet up to the people.
Mhm. Now, did you get dressed up to go to church? Was it a big to-do, or?
And he dressed up. Yeah, we were always dressed up. I never had a piece of cotton clothes till I was about 12 years old.
Your mother made all of the clothes? Or?
Well, they cut them down,
Uh-huh.
or so they'd cover you.
Oh, right, so your older brother's clothes, they cut
Yeah.
down for you, and
Nothing was ever thrown away.
now, did you ever, nobody bought clothes in the family, or you just get
No.
hand-me-downs?
Well, you know, I think the first clothes I ever had bought when I was 12 years old for first communion.
A pair of pants, or what'd you get?
A coat and the pants.
Coat and pants for communion.
And I think the suit at that time must have cost $8 or $9.
$8 or $9 for a suit and pants. Now, how about shoes? What'd you do for shoes?
Well, you bought shoes, and when the weather would come, we didn't have any shoes.
Mhm.
They put them away, so we went barefooted all summer.
So you went barefoot in the summer and only used your shoes when the weather got bad?
The what?
You only used the shoes when the weather got bad?
Yeah.
When it turned cold?
Oh, yes. It really turned cold.
So did your mother announce one day, okay kids, you can start wearing your shoes?
Well, when it got cold,
It was time.
yeah.
So what was like life growing up in your household? Bunch of kids and...
Well, you know, there was no place to go or anything, and after supper, they'd probably gather there, and then they'd scatter, do what they could. And they generally, you take as quick as there was a girl born.
Mhm.
The piano was about the first instrument they knew anything about.
Uh-huh.
The piano and fiddle.
Now, did you have a piano in the home?
Yes. I think they bought on an installment plan.
Uh-huh. So they must have bought that out of a catalog, or...
Yeah.
And it probably arrived there before you were born?
Well, no, I think that didn't come till quite a while, because my sister that played the piano was born after I was.
Uh-huh.
She was the youngest of the family.
Now I wonder, how did they deliver the piano? They bring it in a wagon, or
I wagon from the town.
brought it in a wagon? Did anyone in your family play the fiddle?
Yeah,
Who played the fiddle?
Matt,
Matt played the fiddle,
my second brother,
and your sister played the piano.
and my older brother, I think he had a clarinet.
A clarinet. And what, did you play anything?
Well, no, not then.
Not then. And so they just
Just
got together and played
home
music?
entertainment.
Home entertainment.
There was an old Englishman.
Uh-huh.
They built an elevator, and he broke his arm. And in those days, he was trying to live in a coal car.
Uh-huh. In a coal car.
A what?
He was trying to live in a coal car?
Well, no.
Cook car.
You see,
A cook car. Oh,
they used to have these coal cars
mm-hmm.
to follow us rationary
Uh-huh.
that used to cook for the crew.
Oh, right.
And it was just a kind of a shack built on wheels.
Uh-huh.
And he was trying to live in that with one arm broke. And my brother was there, said, hell, they called him Daddy Wales. He was an old guy. He said, you can't live out here like that. With one arm and the damn crack in there, the wind blows through there. So he come up there and he played the bass viol. And he was pretty good at that. And they used to get down there and pick out little tunes that they used to play. And the phonograph showed up about 1906.
1906, you got the first, what, an Edison or Edison phonograph?
Edison, with those little wax cylinders.
Oh, with the cylinders, yeah.
And boy used to come to hear that thing play, and you know, it was something new, and it was something that no one ever heard until they come. And to think that they could record that voice, and it was really something. But he says that damn thing is no good. Well, you know, he thought that you're all right, you don't care about them, you're old. But the young people, he says, you know, he says, that thing is going to take the place of home entertainment.
Who said that?
This old man.
Oh, the old man said, the old Englishman said that.
He said that it was that phonograph when everything had thought it was so wonderful. He says that damn thing is no good. And so we thought, oh, you're not crazy. That's something new, that's going to go. He says, you know, what that's going to do is take the place of this home entertainment. We're going to eliminate that because we'll want to go and hear someone else play. And, you know, it turned out that way.
It turned out that way.
As quick as someone had some music they could listen to that was handmade like that, well, then the girls at home got the piano. They wanted to hear the music that was already made.
Already played.
And it turned out that way. In those early years, when you come to hire a girl teacher, they could get a TT certificate if they passed the 8th grade.
8th grade, you could get a teaching certificate.
And so, you know, like with them, then it got so you couldn't find any piano players anymore.
Because of the Edison.
They all wanted to hear that man-made music. So that, I've often thought of that. I was on the school board for years, and then it got so you'd hardly ever get an application where they could play piano.
How about
and
that?
Before it was always the girl played piano.
Looking to play piano.
That was a girl's choice. But a girl was born, they had to have a piano.
Had to have a piano. Now, what was the boys' choice, do you think?
Well, they made their own.
They made their own, but the girls wanted the piano.
Well, yes. So that was about it as far as the boys. They done whatever they could.
Now, did you play outdoor games at all, or
Oh, well,
baseball, or?
in the summertime, but in the wintertime, everything was pretty well housed in.
Everything inside.
Yeah.
Now you got pretty much, I guess the snow came, and you're stuck in the house for the winter? Or?
Yeah.
Cards.
I know.
Cards.
Cards. You played cards in the winter.
Cards.
Cards and any dance parties or?
And any what?
Dance parties? Any dancing or?
Death?
Dancing.
Oh.
To dance to music?
Oh, they used to dance in the homes.
Uh-huh.
And then, you know, that the funny thing about all that, even today, when we were talking about some of these damn laws we got,
Mhm.
I always feel the intent is good of them, but there's always a damn many guys that want to get everything for nothing.
Mhm.
That just reminds me of, you know, when I went into the Army, and they said, boy, I said, you're going to be well fixed when you come home, you know, everything will be for you. So I thought, well, maybe it will. So when I come home, the first thing, there was no job.
Mhm.
And so the guy finally told me he'd give me $3 a day if I could pitch hay on the bundle wagon while they drove by.
So you $3 a day to pitch hay
Yeah.
on the wagon, just up on the wagon.
And then when you got the wagon towed, drive it over to a corral where they fenced it in for the winter.
Mhm. Now they must not have rolled hay back then.
No, it was just all what they had was a mower and rake.
Uh-huh. And then they stack it in piles? Is that what they
No.
did? Or?
And they'd pick it up that way, and then stack it in stacks
In stacks.
inside that corral.
In the corral.
Because they'd have to haul it to the stop it from there in the winter time. Because if that hay was away from a fence, they'd eat it up before it would haul it.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I couldn't keep up with that. I was kind of half mad. Come out of the Army, and no job, $6.40 a day, 1 day a month.
Mm-hmm. 1 day a month, that's all
Yeah.
you, was that the pension or what was that?
That was your salary,
That was your salary in the Army?
$6.40 a month.
$6 or you got your meals too though, right?
You know, well, oh yeah,
And your uniform and all your needs taken care of.
and the shells.
$6.40 a month.
Yeah. I tried to ration myself so I could buy a bottle of pop,
Uh-huh.
one bottle every day, but it wouldn't reach.
It wouldn't make it. How much did a bottle of pop cost back then?
A nickel.
A nickel. So not quite enough to make the whole month there
Yeah.
on pop. Now, for your own schooling, Otto, growing up, what did you do for your own school? Where did you get educated?
Well, I'll tell you, one teacher come in there, and always one teacher had to teach all the grades.
Always just one.
And then there was a guy that put an application in from Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
and he come in here, and he was a good teacher. So he built up the school, and he was the first guy to put in a high school.
Uh-huh.
And
Do you know what the name of that high school?
well, it was just a Villers-en-Haye High School.
Mm-hmm. And is he the only male teacher that you had growing up?
Did what?
Was he the only male teacher that you had?
No. Afterwards, after he came, you see, there was one time there was one school for each township,
Mm-hmm.
and then afterwards they kind of got so they put one school in the township
Mm-hmm.
and then put on a bus.
Uh-huh.
And of course, then with the high school, then our neighboring district wanted to come into our school.
Into your school.
Well, we did have a good school, and a lot of those people all come into Villers-en-Haye.
Uh-huh.
because it was the first rural school that had a high school.
Uh-huh.
And so things, got more pupils and everything. And the tax was always a problem for school.
Getting the money, the tax
Getting
money.
the money to run.
Mhm.
You see now, our district had to have 28 mil for the tax, the high.
My goodness.
Because it was a four-year high school.
Mm-hmm.
But then that was the only thing that was around close that high school could be available.
Yeah.
And so then they started to redistrict to get the bigger schools.
Mm-hmm.
And of course people voted in there and we were taking care of our neighboring district and we wanted them to come into our district.
Uh-huh.
Then we could get their taxes. But they wouldn't because they were sitting out there and some of them were as low where a public utility
Mm-hmm.
would go through their land. They'd pay enough of the taxes that some of those guys, their tax base was as small as 6 cents.
6 cent tax base. My
And
goodness.
so it was pretty hard to tax more tax on them. They thought that was fine.
Yeah, I bet.
And they were sending our goods in there and pay us a little tuition. But that didn't work, and so it naturally got so those schools got bigger,
Mm-hmm.
needed more taxes. And when we went out to try to campaign, we had a good high school.
Mm-hmm.
But they said, well, if you buy buses like this other district would, that wasn't always in, we'd come to those. Well, I said, we're taxed 28 mil just to have a high school.
Yeah.
It takes all that, and it takes all that to keep this going. Now, why don't you guys buy a bus to come into?
Yeah.
Oh, that bus was free. So that's what we got today, hauling kids 45, 50 miles to school.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so our school system, then got more government control
Yeah.
and people
Lost their independence. And
the thing was this. It was just like, I guess it was England was probably the first one that took out of the control of their school.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Hitler got into Germany, he wanted to burn all the old books.
Right.
And so that was the way those dictators thought they knew everything and started anew.
Yeah. Start a new world.
A lot of people didn't realize that when old Roosevelt got in as president, he had the same damn idea.
Did he? So did you not like Roosevelt?
And he had Harry Hopkins was a guy that was a head of the school district, and he was going to burn all the old books. And Roosevelt knew everything.
How about that?
You see, but then the American people got wise to that, and they were afraid then to do anything, so they dropped.
So they dropped it. So Roosevelt was going to try and get rid of the old books and start again, huh?
And he was going to do like Hitler and these other guys, destroy all this old stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, did you go through all of high school?
No, I went through, I think, 2 years.
2 years of high school?
Yeah, high
So
school.
10th and 11th grade?
Yeah, and ninth and 10th.
9th and 10th.
Right, was a common school. But you know, at that time, there was nothing much in sight there. That just started new, and settlers coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We had a grocery store first, and then a blacksmith shop,
Mhm.
and it built up to be quite a little.
So grocery store first, and then a blacksmith shop, and what
then,
else came?
Then I don't know. Then they started moving in, and implement dealers and different guys
Uh-huh.
come in, and they all had little shops,
Uh-huh.
and it was close around, and people wanted to buy as close as they could.
Uh-huh. Now, what was your favorite subject in school? Do you remember?
Well, I don't just remember. I don't know that I had a favorite subject, you know. It's just, we got those books, and
Uh-huh.
that's what we had.
Now, was school full-time or half-day or?
Well, no, it was full time,
Mm-hmm.
but here was the thing with the farm people. See, when these families started growing up, they needed all the help,
Mm-hmm.
and all the help they had was in their own family. Now then, when the spring opened up, we're getting ready for seeding and everything. We had to quit school.
Uh-huh.
So the only time we really went to school was in the winter time.
Winter
Because
time.
as quick as it warmed up in the spring, we were out of
That's
school.
stuff to do.
So that's when you got big enough to should have learned something, then you quit school.
You quit school, yeah.
And so that's the way things went. So very few of our high school kids ever graduated
Mm-hmm.
because they always had to work on the farm.
So when they got big enough, they took on more responsibility on the farm
You know,
and just pulled them away from the school.
that's what it is.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Now, did all of your brothers go to school about the same length of time that you did, or
Well,
did some quit earlier, or?
Yeah, some, you know, it was just as a work developed at home.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as the time went on, they wanted to get more crop in.
Mm-hmm.
So that took more help.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to get horses and harness and all that stuff ready in the winter time. You have it to go in the spring and fall.
Oh, so you were repairing things all winter too?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, how did you get to school with the snow?
Well,
It must have been a.
As far as we were concerned, when they started to survey railroads and everything, now that homestead that my dad took up, that is still Ihringer farm.
Uh-huh.
And so the thing is this was it, and then when the railroad went through, how they got that place where that town started,
Mm-hmm.
they used to grade so much stretch at a time,
Mm-hmm.
grade, and then they lay rails,
Mm-hmm.
and then they used to run up to the end of the rails. And that was as far as the first train that come into Bourgeois
That's it,
stopped.
just bit by bit, huh?
So the old storekeeper that had a little country store, he said, "Here we'll start the town." And so that was where that was the end of the rail at that time, and that was where they started this town.
As they started the town at the end of course the rail kept going,
Yeah.
but they were...
Then from there, they took another stretch,
Mhm.
and then they grade that and rail it,
Mhm.
and then they extend the road that much all the time.
Now, did you ever work on the railroad?
No,
You just
I
did
never
it,
did.
but did it cut across your family property? Or?
Yes, it cut it when they started the town, it cut across one corner of the Section 8.
Mhm.
And at that time, I think the government gave them the land
Mhm.
as they go through to get the railroads through.
Now, so everyone wanted the railroads?
Oh, yeah.
They thought that it was going to be a big thing for the
That
town?
was a big
Mhm.
thing that the town had to have.
Mhm. Now, did they make the right decision where they put the town?
Well, you know, that when they stopped the train, you know, like he had that little store, and he says, here's where we'll start our town.
Uh-huh.
That's what his suggestion he made, and that's where they started to build.
Uh-huh.
But that was the end of the road at that time.
Now, was the school in the town?
The school was in the town.
In the
yeah.
town.
And the depot was about 3 miles east of town.
Mhm.
You see, when they surveyed, the original survey was the track to be laid on the south edge of that little lake that was there. But then, when they surveyed, they just made a kind of a rough survey.
Mhm.
And then when it come to the grading, then they made the shortcut. So they figured the depot would be out there, but then when the train went through, and that's where the town started, they had a depot long before they had a train.
Oh.
What?
So that was a bad mistake then?
Well, I don't know if it was a mistake. It was just that when they started building,
Mhm.
then they had to make her close to Vegas when they first came through.
Mhm.
You see, and then they left it up to the
Mhm.
guys that done the grading, and that's so they had to go around or
Yeah.
build up. That's
Now-
all done with horse feet.
All done with horses.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, it must have given a lot of work to people around here.
Well, you take, there was a lot of work there, because, well, these people, these farmers and everything with their horses, they used to, you know, use those horses as much as they could too. They were getting, I think, for $5 a day
Mhm.
for a man and a team.
For a man on a team got $5 a
A
day.
day. And,
That's pretty good.
yeah, well, they come in, the farmers,
Mhm.
when they didn't need their horses. So that's how, it was slow working.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty good if you made $6.40 a month in the Army and they could get $5 a day for a man and a team.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, with the Army, their pay was $30 a month,
Uh-huh.
but they took $15 and that's for allotment.
Oh, they did.
And then we had to pay our insurance and all that stuff out of our tax.
Oh, you had to pay that.
That's,
So you had to pay. Now, the allotment went to your family?
well, you would make it to whoever you wanted.
Mhm.
Now, like the Army, they had a $10,000
Mhm.
policy,
Mhm.
but you had to pay the premium on that.
Mhm.
And then if you got killed over there, and that your wife
Go the $10,000.
had $10,000.
Now, did they also include burying you? Did a person get buried for free in the Army if you
Oh,
died in
yeah.
the military?
I guess, oh yeah,
Yeah, so they buried you,
they buried.
and they give you a $10,000 life insurance policy
Yes.
that you paid for.
Well, you know, here that they generally bury you before you die
Oh,
in the Army at that time.
uh-huh.
You know, like you take
No delivery expense.
in a lot of those countries now, where I was up in the Alberta country,
Mhm.
it was farm, and they had a cypress forest.
Mhm.
A lot of people lived out there, and when they died, they generally buried you right on the farm.
Uh-huh.
So, and it was the same way here. They, we got a cemetery out here east of Villers-en-Haye.
Mhm. Your family cemetery.
What?
You mean your family cemetery? Or-
Well, I don't know whether it was family or not, but Jesse James,
Oh, yeah.
you know, he had some relations just east there, and this was a cousin.
Mhm.
He used to come at night here and get out there, and my brother attended that funeral. And you know, they just dug it out there, what was prairie at that time, and the graves were neglected. And then here, a few years ago, the American Legion, they made a point to, they used to have a barbed wire fence around there, but that fence was broke down, and that's when they built a fence around these cemeteries and set a flagpole in there.
Uh-huh.
You know, so the graves were well preserved now.
Yeah. Now, when your sister died at 16, was she buried on the farm?
No, that's opened the Carrington
The
Cemetery.
Carrington Cemetery.
And that was, you know, Kibler said about 10 or 12 miles from home.
Mm-hmm.
And then the undertaker had a nice little team,
Mm-hmm.
and a horse-drawn
Had a horse-drawn hearse.
You know,
So, was there services for your sister in the home?
you know what?
Did they have a service for your sister in the home?
When they had it in the church.
Oh, they had it in the church.
At that time. No, I don't see. Yes, they must have had the services always, but there was no church when she died.
Okay, so it must have been at the home.
You know. See, the church that we had in Meuse-Argonne, Carrington needed a bigger church, and so we got their church and moved it down to Meuse-Argonne in the wintertime.
You picked it up?
When there was snow on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
and they put it on poles and drug it.
They drug it.
You know, 22 horses.
My goodness, did you see that?
Yeah.
You witnessed them dragging this church?
Yes. And they passed right south of our house. So we were out to see the 22 horses for the church.
That must have been something, huh?
Yeah.
Now, when you got out of high school, what did you do?
Well, then I thought I was going to go out and get a job, make some money.
Mm-hmm.
We never had any, if we ever got a nickel, we thought we were damn lucky. And then when I went out, the first time I thought, well, I used to farm, drag and plow
Mm-hmm.
and that. And I thought, well, I didn't know what the outside world was.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got out there, in those little towns, they used to come in any minute. Here today, you know, there's a kid out there wants a job. Well, damn few ever stopped to talk to you.
Uh-huh.
So it was pretty rough.
Hmm. And you were the kid?
I was a kid.
At 16, 17, you think? Or?
And where our bed was alongside a corral.
Hmm.
Every little town at that time had a corral because they shipped their cattle by rail,
Hmm.
and they had to have a corral a day or two before the box cars to haul them out.
So what kind of work did you get, Otto? What did you do?
About the first job I got was an old rancher. He came in and he wanted to hire a man. You see, in that he was a cattleman.
Cattleman.
And so he asked me, and I said, well, I told him I could do any kind of farm work. Well, he said, we don't have farming out there. We're cattlemen. They just raise cattle. And so in the spring, there was always this problem. The cow, when she was going to calve, she generally wanted to get away from the herd.
Yeah.
So they had the cowboys riding those herds day and night.
Hmm.
And if a cow strayed away, they were to chase her back in.
Chase it back
But
in.
if she started to roam up those hills or that, they'd hardly never find her again.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, he said, could you make bunk? Well, I said, I don't know what that is, but I think I could. Well, he didn't have any choice, so he took me out there, I think 37 miles from the harbor.
Uh-huh.
And so we got along pretty good. I was a flunky there, made the bunks and
Made the bunks.
cleaned up the yard.
Hmm.
He had, a regular little town for his kitchen.
Uh-huh.
He had no Chinese cook.
A Chinese cook.
The Chinese cook on a little shack. It was his shack, and he slept in.
Now-
Cook and everything. That was a Chinese home.
Now, was that the first time you saw a Chinese person?
Yeah. So we went out there and we got along pretty good. And everything was going pretty good. So they started to play tricks on him.
Uh-huh.
They'd taken tie knots in his underwear when he's hanging out to dry,
The Chinese man.
the Chinese.
Uh-huh.
And then he always come in, very nice day, very nice. Never showed any sign of anger. So then to make it a little worse, he wet it and tie knots. But old Charlie never could. He always come in with that smile on.
Uh-huh.
Very nice day. And you see, when they pulled that, those cowboys would come in any hour of the night,
Mhm.
and if they were close with the herd, they'd come in and he always had a sandwich or coffee,
Mhm.
or maybe a kettle of soup,
Mhm.
because they could eat that lunch before they went to bed.
Mhm.
They changed shifts. And so it got kind of old. So the Chinaman never said a word. And so they said, Charlie, he said, you know, you've been a pretty good scout. He said, you never once kicked about us tying up your underwear. So we're not going to do that anymore.
Uh-huh.
He said, we're going to have you as one of the boys. And very nice, very nice. And he said, now we're not going to do that anymore.
Mhm.
We want you to be one of the boys. And he said, we're not going to tie any more knots in your clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just treat you as one of the guys.
Did they do that?
And he said, you know how to do that. No, no. He said, we'll never pay any more tricks on you. So you'll just go, you sure now? You're not going to do that? Oh, yeah, he said, we're sure we're not going. We're going to pick up one of the boys. So he said, all right. Then you no more do that. I no more pee in the soup. They didn't know what to do about that. And you know, those damn cowboys thought I knew about it.
Oh, they did.
And but I didn't know anything about it either. So the boss comes to me and he said, I think you better leave. He says, I know you didn't know anything about it, but he says those damn cowboys, he says, you know, when they go out on a spree, they get pretty damn mean. And he said, I'm afraid they'd hurt you. So he said, I'll tell you, I'll drive you to the next town that was right close to the Canadian border. And then you can get into Canada. But that's when I got into.
Now, what happened to the Chinaman?
The what?
What happened to the Chinaman? Did they let him go, or?
No. Hell, they just, I guess, all what they could do is take their choking good style too.
Right. So did you go up into Canada afterwards for work?
For work.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about the same time North Dakota was opening their land.
Oh, but for homestead or for another?
In Canada. And then those foreigners come in, and they didn't know a damn thing about machinery. And that was, they get a Model T at that time. It was about the time the Model T turned up. And so they knew he could, they turned that crank on the front, he could go start, they could run it. If it wouldn't start, they'd have no idea what to do. They'd go out and wind on that thing. And they'd say, well, there's a kid, he knows quite about that. So I kind of watched everything. I didn't have a board or anything, but I knew they had to turn on the switch. And then, so a lot of times I just go and look and see what was wrong back there, and turn on the switch and go, turn it on, so you go right off. Boy, I was smart. I could start those damn boards. So that's how I got started in the mechanic. So I went in there and I started a little shop. And
now where is this, Otto? Where'd you start the shop?
In Alberta.
In Alberta,
in Canada. And so it went along pretty good. And I had pretty good luck. I just learned as I went. And there was, you know, they had to get an engine to do their tracking or something. And the thing had stopped. And they wouldn't know what to do. And so I got so they come in to get me to start that engine. And I always went out there. He generally had pretty good luck. And get the engine going, and boy, they thought I was a pretty good mechanic. And it got going along pretty good. And after that way, it turned out pretty good. There was nothing in that line in the winter time. So I used to work there in the summer and go out west for the winter. So anyway, working around and those homesteaders, they needed wells.
Oh,
of
right.
water.
Wells and water. Mhm.
And there was an old power machine there. My brother was up there running the lumber yard. And we fixed the damn thing up. And it got it working pretty good. And we started cleaning wells and digging new ones. And it was a pretty good deal because we only got half price if we hit a dry hole.
Oh, uh-huh.
And if we completed a well, then we got paid for it. So that's the way things went there.
Well, how did you figure out where to drill?
Well, you didn't just where you
Where you wanted
well.
the well, you just dug it.
That's where we went. You know, then they had all kinds of well wishers.
Right, the guys with the...
That guy, here's water, that we always knew. And they didn't know any more than anyone else.
Oh, you don't think so?
You'd get just as many dry holes, but they predicted a lot of water here would have hit place. It was just dig a hole right here, and if we get water, we got a well.
How deep could you drill with the machine?
The deepest I could drill with that machine was 90 feet.
90 feet. Mhm. Now, did you buy the machine? You and your brother buy the machine from somebody,
No,
or you just find
I
it?
bought it, and then I hired a man, and we got a team that was
Mhm.
horse drawn.
Mhm.
The horses walked around and turned that all over.
So the drill was done with horsepower.
It was-
You had horses walking around and
Yeah.
turning the drill?
And the horses furnished the power to turn that over.
How many horses would it take to...
Oh, one horse. would
Just
do
one
it.
horse would do it, going around and round?
Around the ground.
Was it the same horse that you used to take the drill out to the location?
Yeah.
So the same horse took it out?
Yeah.
You unharnessed him, put him on, and he went around and turned the
Yeah.
drill?
So that horse, you know, at that time, most of the power machinery was powered with those horses.
With horses? Uh-huh.
Walk around a circle. There was a gear, and then hook to the pot.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you own the horse?
When I bought the horse,
Uh-huh.
you know, the guy offered me the horse on time.
Mhm.
I didn't have any money to start. And that's about the time we were going good there. And here was the thing at that time. The United States had conscription,
Mm-hmm.
and Canada didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And Canada was in war at the time when the war broke out in 1914.
1914.
Well, you see, I went to Canada in 1912,
Mm-hmm.
2 years from there. So I thought, well, then they started thinking, here we're at war, there's no conscription. The United States is at peace and has conscription. So they were talking about conscription in Canada. And no one ever, Canada was free to travel any way you wanted to or where, as the United States. So I thought, well, if the Canada goes conscription, and chances I'd either have to file
Mm-hmm.
one place or the other. And I thought I wanted to be in the American Army.
Mm-hmm.
I went. So I wrote into the draft board to register. And they got the letter all right. And about the time I got a notice that I shall appear. So that's how I got in the Army.
So you wrote from Canada
Yeah.
back to the United States.
Yeah. Well, yes, I was in Canada when I wrote it for my draft card
Mm-hmm.
in the United States. Nobody ever bothered me. Canada, I was free as a bird.
Uh-huh.
you could go any place. Canada was a little bit stricter on their laws. I said,
Mhm.